I've walked out of law before, actually done it, handed it back, closed the door, gone. And then I came back. And when I came back, I made myself a deal. I'd done the broke version of freedom once, the white knuckle, where's the rent version, and it nearly finished me. So this time I wanted the opposite. I wanted certainty. I initially came back through a few high variance years. That was with a small base salary and a quarterly profit share that swung all over the place. And then I did something deliberate. I took a corporate job for one reason. It would carry me on a fixed schedule to my fire number. That was the whole deal I made with myself. Get me to the number, then I'm free. Then I don't need law anymore. The number landed in April 2024. But the day you become free on paper is not the day you feel free inside. The salary kept landing, and every month it landed, some part of me still didn't want to let it go. That's what I want to talk about today. You've built the career, you're building the portfolio, you're close to freedom. So what now? Welcome to Life After Enough. Money, meaning, and the life you design when work becomes optional. I'm Nick. I'm racing towards early retirement and figuring out who I become when the job no longer dictates what I do with my time. Let's get into it. Quick bit of context if you're new here, because it matters for what comes next. The next year for this show is a countdown. I'm a corporate lawyer and I'm leaving corporate life in June 2027. I'm documenting the entire final year on the way out. Not from the safe side, after it all worked out and I can hand you the tidy lessons, but from inside of it, while I still genuinely don't know how it all lands. And right now we're in what I'm calling Money Month. The theme of the whole month is one sentence. You've got the money, and you still can't move. Last episode, we looked at one version of that, the money you've already saved, sitting there, and you can't bring yourself to spend a penny of it, even though, by any honest measure, you can afford to. The brake that won't release even when you're technically rich. That was the wall on the inside of you. Today is the other wall, not the money you've saved, but the money that keeps arriving. The salary you can't switch off, even though technically you've outgrown the need for it. And here's why I want you actually here for this one, because I'm going to tell you the thing the entire FIRE internet gets wrong about golden handcuffs. And it's not a small wrong, it's the exact piece of advice that nearly destroyed me. So stay with me. Now, I know what some of you are already thinking. Cry me a river. Poor you. Can't stop getting paid loads of money by a corporate. What a tragedy. Yeah, I know how that sounds. Hold the thought though, because that reaction, that exact eye roll, is the cage. And here's why. Golden handcuffs is the one trap nobody examines because it sounds too stupid to complain about. You feel ridiculous even saying it out loud. I can't bring myself to leave a job that pays me really well. Well, who on earth is going to sympathize with that? So you never say it. You never look at it head on. And because you never look at it head on, you never get free of it. The absurdity is the lock. The fact that it sounds like a non-problem is the precise thing that keeps it working on you for years. So we're going to look at it head on in this episode today. Let me tell you what this looks like from the inside. You've done well. You've got the number, or are close enough to it to see it from here. On paper, you're free-ish, and yet you still open the brokerage app more than you'd care to admit to anyone. You still get a little hit when the salary lands, a flush of relief you'd be embarrassed to describe out loud. Because what is there to be relieved about? You're fine. You've been fine for ages. You still get the Sunday night dread, which, when you think about it, makes no sense at all. The thing the dread is supposed to be protecting you from, losing the job, losing the income, you've already made that survivable. You could lose it tomorrow and be just fine. Yet, you still lie there on a Sunday with a stone in your stomach about Monday. You've said the words "just a couple more years" to someone recently, and every time the bonus lands or the raise comes through, the clock quietly resets. You recalculate, the number creeps up a bit. If any of that landed, that's the handcuff. That's the thing we're talking about. Not a metaphor, the actual texture of your week. First up, what this isn't, because this gets confused with one more year syndrome constantly, and we've already done that in episode 8. One more year is fear. It's what if it's not enough? What if the market crashes? What if I've miscalculated? What if I need a bigger buffer? It's the voice that says you're not safe yet. Just one more bonus, one more cycle, and then I'll go. But this, what we're talking about today, is different. This is the person who's already done the maths, run the numbers a dozen times, knows the portfolio covers the life, knows they would be fine, genuinely fine, but still can't make the move. That's not fear. You're not scared the floor is going to fall away. This is a different animal, a different name, and the name is the golden handcuffs. So, what are the golden handcuffs actually made of? I think it's two things. The first is the pulse. The salary lands on schedule, whether you want it or not. You don't have to do anything clever. Payday comes around and the number goes up. And every one of those is a fresh tap on the wrist, a reminder of what you'd be switching off if you left. People talk about golden handcuffs like it's one decision, but it isn't. It's a decision you get asked to make again every single month, forever. And every month the answer is, well, not this month. The second is the maths in your head, and it's the foregone income. You can sit there and calculate, probably to the dollar, what you'd be losing by leaving. Next year's salary, the bonus, the raise, and it reads as loss, even though it isn't. Walking away from money you don't need isn't losing money. It's just declining to earn more of something you already have enough of. But it doesn't feel like that. It feels like setting fire to a huge stack of cash. What's strange about this is that nobody mourns a raise they never got, but everyone flinches at a salary they chose to stop. It's the same money, completely different feeling. The flinch here isn't about the money. It's about the choosing. So here's where I part company with basically every other person who makes content about this. The standard advice on golden handcuffs goes something like this. They're a trap. The money is a gilded cage. You have to be brave. Value your freedom more than comfort. Stop being a coward and just leap. Rip off the plaster. Life's short. Just go. I think that advice is wrong, dangerously wrong. I know it because I took that advice to the letter and it nearly ruined me. In 2016, I valued freedom over comfort. I was brave. I made the leap. I ripped off the plaster and I walked out of law to go build something of my own. I did exactly what the brave leap people tell you to do. Let me tell you how that went. Regular listeners know the story by now, but for those of you new to the show, I quit law completely and started an adventure fitness company in London. Boot camps, mountain hikes, personal training. I loved it. It was mine. And about a year in, I was running out of money fast. Let me give you the texture because the texture is the whole point. November, I was running 3 boot camps a week for 2 straight weeks. Nobody showed up. It was cold, it was dark, it was miserable, and I'm there standing in a park on my own. I earned less than £100 that week for an enormous amount of work. A few months later, I designed a fitness retreat. Weeks of work, the programming, the marketing, the logistics. 2 people signed up, and then 1 dropped out. I ran it anyway, because what else was I going to do? And honestly, it was a brilliant week, and I made a real friend out of it. Then I flew home and did the maths, and I'd lost thousands of pounds. The accommodation was pre-booked. The bet was already placed before anyone said no. At that point in my life, that money was enormous. And underneath all of that, I was still spending like a corporate lawyer. I was still living like the guy with the big paycheck landing every month, because that's who I'd been. And the habits don't switch off the day the income does. I had no idea about safe withdrawal rates or runways or really any of it. I was just burning through everything I had. The cruelest part wasn't the money. It was what the money did to the thing I'd left for. I couldn't enjoy the mountains when I was worried about rent. I couldn't be present with a client when I was working out how many more sessions I needed that week just to break even. The dream didn't die in some dramatic blow-up. It died quietly, one anxious Sunday at a time. So I went back to law because I had to. Now, I'm not telling you that for sympathy. I'm telling you that because some of you are probably about to make the exact same mistake I did, and I'd like to save you from it. Hold those 2 states next to each other for another second. Back then, I was actually unsafe. genuinely exposed, financial runway counted in months. That feeling of being kind of financially naked, I know exactly what it feels like because I lived it. Today, I'm not. The maths is done. The portfolio covers the life. By every objective measure, I'm financially safe. And I still don't want to let go of the salary. Why? Well, because the salary doesn't make me richer than I need to be. It does something far more seductive than that. It means I never have to feel exposed again. It's not just an income, it's also a kind of anesthetic. So long as the money keeps landing, I never have to sit in the feeling I sat in back in 2016. The salary numbs the fear I lived through, and that's the actual handcuff. Here's the whole thing in one line. I'm not addicted to being safe. I'm already safe. But I'm addicted to feeling safe, and those are not the same thing. Being safe is a fact. You can check it. The spreadsheet tells you. But feeling safe is an emotion and a state of mind. And the salary is the cheapest, most reliable way to buy it. So I keep buying it with my time, with my one finite life. So here's the truth I got at an enormous cost. The grip of the golden handcuffs is not weakness, but it is information. When you can't make yourself leave, that feeling isn't cowardice, it's accurate. It's correctly telling you something true, that right now, today, leaving would be a downgrade. And for someone who's already hit their number, the downgrade isn't about money. You can afford to go. It's that you've built a life of pure subtraction. Quit the job, that's the whole plan. And on the other side of it, nothing. No structure, no identity, no reason to get up, just a thing you're running from and a void you'd be running into. That's why the handcuffs feel like handcuffs, because there's nothing on the other side pulling hard enough against them. That's then not a courage problem, that's a build problem. So the move is not to break the handcuffs. Breaking them is the brave, dramatic, plaster ripping thing, and it probably will fail. The bigger and better move is to outgrow them, to build the thing on the other side. The income, yes, if you want, but more than that, the identity, the work that's yours, the reason to get out of bed, until the pull forward finally outweighs the pull back. And then you don't have to be brave at all. You just walk. Because by then, leaving isn't a downgrade, it's an upgrade. And the cuffs come off on their own. You barely even notice they're gone. You don't leave when you're brave enough. You leave when you've built enough. Quick one before we continue. I send a weekly email every Monday morning that goes deeper than the podcast. It's not a recap, it's a separate idea, usually something more personal, plus a question to sit with for the week. It's free, it's one email, and you can sign up at lifeafterenough.com. Link is in the show notes. Okay, back to it. And here's why I think lawyers and anyone with a higher income feels this harder than almost anyone. Your number is legible. Whether you bill by the hour or draw a salary like I do, you know your compensation cold. The monthly figure, the bonus, the raise you're in line for, to the dollar. You can price exactly what a year of leaving would cost you. You can sit down and tell me to the decimal place what walking away costs. And that precision feels like rigor. It feels like being responsible with money. But I think it's the opposite. The more precisely you can see the number you're walking away from, the heavier the handcuffs will feel. Your professional skill, the ability to quantify, to be exact, to never leave money on the table, is the thing tightening the metal around your wrists. You're too good at counting what you'd lose. And nobody ever counts what staying costs, because that number never shows up on a payslip. Let me give you something to actually do with this, because I don't want this to be 20 minutes of me being all wise to you. The salary is buying you three things, and only one of them is money. One, it's buying your living costs, the rent, the food, the life. That's the only honest financial one. And if you've done the maths, really done it, your portfolio can buy that too. So for a lot of you, cross it off, it's handled. Number two, it's buying your identity. The answer to, so what do I do? The status, the version of you other people recognize and respect. That one's real and it's heavy and it's its own wall. We're going to spend proper time on it later in this countdown. For now, just notice it's on the list and park it. Number 3, and this is the handcuff, it's buying you the feeling of safety, the anesthetic, the thing that means you never have to feel exposed the way I felt exposed in that park in November. Here's the test. Go down the list and be honest about which ones you're actually paying for with your years. If it's number 1, if you genuinely need the income, then that's fine. That's great. Keep working. No episode required. But if number 1 is already covered, and for a lot of you it is, then you're spending your one finite life buying number 3, a feeling that you could, in principle, decide to live without, because the fact underneath it is already true. This all brings me to the cut that I want you to make. There are 2 sentences that feel identical when you're sitting in it, and they are not the same sentence. The first is, I need this. The second, I can't bear to walk away from it. If you've done the maths, the honest version, then sentence 1 is false. You don't need it. And I'm not theorizing at you here. I've got proof. I set a number, took a job specifically to hit it, and I hit it on schedule in April 2024, which tells me what's gripping me was never the money. The money's handled. I need this is a lie I tell myself because it's more respectable than the truth. And just so we're clear, this isn't me waiting for a bigger number. I'm not padding. I hit the number I chose. This is the thing that doesn't go away when the maths is done. The truth is sentence 2. I can't bear to walk away from it, which, unpacked, means I can't bear to feel exposed without it. That is not the money. It's the feeling the money buys. That is not a financial problem. You can't solve it with a bigger number, which is exactly why 1 more year never works. Another year just buys more anesthetic. It's an identity problem. It's about who you are when the reliable money stops landing and you have to feel your own safety instead of being handed to you every payday. This all raises the obvious question. If I've known all of this for 2 years, since April 2024, why am I still showing up to a corporate job? Well, fair. And it's the whole reason this show exists. Part of the answer is just life. There are boring logistics behind the exact date. A shared life, other people's plans, the stuff I'm not going to bore you with. Fine. But that's the why of the date. Here's the what of the time in between. And this is the bit that matters for you. I'm not breaking the handcuffs this time. You've heard how that went. I'm trying my best to outgrow them in public. This countdown, these episodes, this whole thing is me building the other side, 1 month at a time, where you can watch it actually happen. The pull forward, hopefully, getting built in real time in front of you. That's why I'd love you along for it. Not because I've cracked it and I'm here to teach you from the summit, but because I haven't. And you get to watch whether this actually works or not. Whether building the other side really does loosen the metal the way I think it will. By June 2027, we'll find out together. So I'll leave you with the uncomfortable bit, pointed right back at you. The handcuffs don't come off when the number gets high enough. They come off when the other side outweighs this one. So the question was never, am I brave enough to leave? It's, what have I built that's worth leaving for? And if your honest answer right now is, nothing yet, well, good. Don't panic. Now you know what the next stretch of your life is actually for. It's not about quitting, it's about building. Next time, we close out Money Month with the check-in. And this is the one where I stop pointing all this at you and turn it on myself. Here's the thread I've been pulling at all episode. I've had the number for 2 years. So the honest question was never whether my money was ready. The question is why I'm still here anyway. That's the one I'm going to answer out loud next week. The whole month's argument that the barrier is never the number, finally aimed where it belongs, at me. But before then, sit with one question. If the money stopped landing tomorrow, not because anything went wrong, just because you chose it, what exactly are you afraid you'd feel? Name that feeling, because that, rather than the money, is what's actually keeping you here. And once you can name it, you can start building the thing that makes it unnecessary. I'm telling you all of this from the inside the handcuffs, not from the other side of them. I'll speak to you next week. Thanks for listening to Life After Enough, a podcast about money, meaning, and the life you design when work becomes optional. If this episode made you rethink your future, share it with someone who's starting to question the script too. You can follow the show wherever you get your podcasts. I'm your host, Nick, and I'll see you next week as we keep building a life that's truly ours.